Vijayaraghavan, first of all, thank you for making the time and coming to us. He's an old family doctor of ours and actually become friends, and he's made a big difference to my dad. And this is Uma, in case anybody doesn't know, and there is Gayatri somewhere here who helped us set up tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We want to make sure it's productive. Just to give you a sense, the doctor he will share his practice and experience with lifestyle. He doesn't even like to call it diseases, so he will explain that. Maybe take half an hour, 45 minutes. It will be brief. So he wanted to allow enough time for questions and clarifications. Maybe that allow us another 45 minutes or an hour. When the doctor is presenting, please reserve your questions till we finish his discussions. But of course, if you have something that is not clear, you want to, it's within friends, so we can even talk about it during the presentation. Finally, in the last 15-20 minutes, he's keen to talk about practical steps we can take as we move beyond the concepts that he will share up front. That's kind of the layout. Hopefully, we will keep it on time, and I'm assuming people will still come, but bear with us. We finish around 8 o'clock. With that, it's Doctor.
Yeah, very good evening. Very good. Thank Kumar for having such a speaking up, and especially all of you for having inspired Sunday evening. It's a precious evening. I hope I your expectations. Right? So,
Doctor, you should check if you're able to hear.
Am I audible?
No.
Audible, okay?
Now you're audible.
Okay. Fine. The first two slides will focus on two things. The first one is the causation of illness. The second one with regards to the source of energy to our body. So that will be a preamble to what we are going to discuss subsequently. Yes. So health or disease are dependent. Whether we are healthy or not is dependent on three factors. One, our lifestyle. Two, our environment. Three, the food that we take. Lifestyle is sleep, stress, physical activity, smoking and alcohol. Environment is home environment and or work environment. Physical, chemical, emotional stress, stressors, these. And the third one is the food that we take. So all these things are constantly throwing information to our body, okay, which is being perceived by a sensory system, meaning vision, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. So these are all carried to our brain, that is the prefrontal cortex. So brain is only a CPU which assesses all the information and sends it down the body to various parts, various organs. Okay. So these organs in turn secrete hormones or chemicals into our bloodstream. In other words, ultimately our blood becomes an information highway. The final destination of the information is to our cells. You can imagine our cells to be something like this room with a wall, and on the wall you have receptors or receivers for this chemical information. If the right information latches on the right receiver at the right time, cellular communication established, that is health. In the absence of which cellular communication is lost, that is ill health. Okay, for the ill health you can label it with any problem. It can be elevated sugar, elevated pressure, elevated weight, thyroid problems, lipid problems, anxiety, depression, autoimmune disorder, cancer, it could be anything. What it means, there is only one disease, cell not functioning. There are only two causes, deficiency and toxicity. Deficiency meaning something required for the body is not going inside. Toxicity meaning something that is not required is going inside and or is unable to get out. These two things come from our lifestyle, our environment, and the food that we take. In other words, the wrong information emanating from these are it's like fire in our body, and our body is like a house on fire. When you see a house on fire, don't you see smoke? Yes or no? You have to voice.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So what do the firefighters do? When my house is on fire, they douse the fire, survey the house, and incidentally the smoke disappears. Okay? However, what we doctors do, we address only the smoke. That is a symptom, allowing the fire to completely destroy the house. Okay? This is what is happening in modern medicine. Okay? That's why, according to one of my mentors, he said allopathy is allopathic. Okay? However, what I said is only part of the problem. There are about, in an average human body, there is about 40 to 70 trillion cells. That is 40 or 70 followed by 12 zeros. Okay? The number of microbes in our body, meaning the bacteria, fungi, virus, etc., on the body and within our body is 10 times the number of cells. Okay? Human genome is about 23 to 25,000. The genome of the microbes are 100 to 150 times. In other words, we are all a bunch of microbes having a human experience. How is that for a sobering thought? Right? So, the microbes are the one who are the final, they are the final custody of the that is cellular communication. They are the one who facilitate the cellular communication. If we are to be healthy, these microbes have to be healthy. Okay? And how do we make them healthy? By correcting the signals from lifestyle,
environment and food.
yeah. So this is what is all about. So what you have to do, get proper signals from the environment, keep yourself neuro-hormonally regulated, establish cellular function, be healthy. Okay? So that's part one. Now, the second one, the optimal fuel source. See, our body requires energy. Okay, the energy can come from two sources. It can be fat, it can be sugar. Okay, so we have to think this from an evolutionary perspective. We have been in this world, human beings have been in this world for close to 2.5 billion years. Okay, for 99.999% of our evolutionary history, we have been hunters and foragers. Agriculture came about 10,000 years. That's the flip in the evolutionary clock. It is then we settled down, then we domesticated animals, and then grains came into existence. So, for 99.99% of evolutionary history, our food source was mainly, the energy source was mainly fat and protein. Because we used to hunt. The carbohydrate that we got was occasional nuts, fruits, roots. That's about it. But majority of the food that we took, the source of energy was from fat and protein. It all changed 10,000 years ago when we started sort of domesticating grass. Okay. Then came grains into the picture. Grains are nothing but carbohydrate. This is the background with which I will continue. See, every cell has got a cell wall. Okay, imagine the cell. And we've got multiple organelles inside. But for practical purposes, let us focus on three things. One is the cell wall. Two is the power factory known as the mitochondria. Okay, that produces energy. Third one is the nucleus, which contains the genetic material. Okay. So whenever we take food, the source of energy is either from sugar or fat. Okay, let's take the example of sugar. So whenever we take sugar, what is sugar we'll redefine later. Whenever we take sugar, okay, it is transported into the cell by a hormone known as insulin. What it does, it takes the energy to the mitochondria. Okay, where the sugar or glucose is utilized, converted to energy. Okay, in the process, certain a little amount of byproducts come. Okay, so this is how the cell is powered. The other source of energy is fat. So when we take fat as a predominant source of energy, it it is taken into the cell by insulin and fed to the mitochondria. So it utilizes that and produces energy. So that's how the cell runs. However, the only difference is that the first thing is that the cell can use either sugar or fat. It cannot use both at the same time. Okay. So when you give sugar, the mitochondria is able to burn it, but then there is a lot of smoke. It's like burning a log of wood. Okay. These are known as reactive oxidative species of free radicals. Okay. So these are the byproducts. This is what happens when you give glucose as a primary source to your body. However, if you give fat as a primary source, it burns like a clean fire. So there is very, very little smoke. Now, what is the significance of this? When you have a lot of smoke, when you have a lot of these free radicals, it can damage the cell wall. And what do you have in the cell wall? What did I tell you initially? Receptors for the hormones. So when it's going to damage the receptors in the wall, the cellular communication is compromised. Cellular function is compromised. Next thing, the free radicals can destroy the powerhouse. The power generating capacity of the cell is compromised. Third thing, it can destroy or cause damage to the nucleus, where the genetic material can get compromised. So this is the understanding you have to have. So this is the reason. So this is a primer for what we are going to discuss subsequently. Clear?
Yeah.
So we have evolved a hypothesis known as toxic tree. So you can imagine the whole medical scenario as a tree which is toxic. Okay, a tree has got roots, trunk, and you have the branches. Okay, the problem is the roots feed into the trunk and then it feeds into the branches. The problem arises from the roots. The problem is physical, emotional, and chemical stress. For any problem to arise in our body, we need to be subjected to some sort of stress, which can be physical, chemical, emotional, either 1 or 2 or 3, either actual or perceived. Okay, so when this happens, this is what I was talking about environmental influence or inputs. Lifestyle? Yeah. So when this information, wrong information comes, it creates a hormonal disturbance in our body through the nervous system. See, this here I want to intervene and tell you, we have about 40 to 50 hormones in our body. God knows there are much more. All these hormones, they are like a spider's web. They are closely connected. There's a constant crosstalk between all the hormones. Okay, just imagine you pull one strand of the spider's web. What happens? There's a downstream downstream effect. Everything gets disturbed. So when you are subjecting your body to any of these, either one or in combination, there is a downstream effect, hormonal imbalance. What is the important hormone that goes out of whack? One is this is a hormonal response, insulin. Insulin is a hormone that can go out of control. The other hormone is a stress hormone known as cortisol. So these are two hormones which completely hormones come from the word harmony. The hormones have to function in a balance. They should be harmonious. You should have too much, you should have too less. It should be secreted at the appropriate amount at the appropriate time to do its job. Okay, too much or too little or nothing is going to create problems. So the hormonal response is that you have this stress hormone and insulin hormone going up. That results in these conditions. These are some of the conditions. Let me, like obesity and high cholesterol and diabetes, cancer, whatever it is. They are not diseases. They are only symptoms. Okay? Symptoms are, you don't have diabetes, you have elevated blood glucose. You don't have hypertension, you have elevated high blood pressure. Your cholesterol, you don't have dyslipidemia, you have high cholesterol and high triglyceride. So that's the way. So you don't give a diagnosis to yourself. Okay, there's something is gone wrong with the body. The body is expressing certain symptoms. It's an adaptive strategy of our body, which is brilliant, which has got an innate intelligence in it. Okay, it's expressing certain symptoms. So such a brilliant adaptive strategy of the body cannot be addressed by a chemical which is alien to our DNA. Right? So this is a problem. So the tree is toxic. So what do we doctors do? What do you think we do? You have the root, you have the trunk, you have the branches. What do we address? What do we address? The branches. So you have a tree that is poisonous, you keep trimming the branches, what happens? It grows with renewed vigor. However, when you pull the plug, there's a root, what happens? Symptoms disappear. This is what you have to understand. This is what we have to understand. Primarily, we doctors have to understand. Because what we say, patients listen. Okay? So, but what do we do? You are not following my instructions. You have a problem. You always say you. One finger is pointing towards you, 3 fingers are pointing towards me. So that is our problem. It's high time we rectify it. So this is what it is. So ultimately, physical, chemical, emotional stimuli, stress creates an effect, hormonal effect on our body that results in certain symptoms. So you need to address, that is the root cause analysis. In any discipline, something is wrong. So what do? Get to the root cause. So I'll give an analogy. You are going in your car. Okay, the petrol gauge shows red light, meaning there's very little fuel in the car. So what do? Answer. Or do you put a sticker on the red light? So the red light are all the branches, the problems. Taking medicine is like putting a sticker. However, finding out the root cause is like filling the petrol. Another analogy is the roof is leaking. Okay, dripping water is dripping from the roof. So what do? You used to do some blasting work here or go up and find out what the problem is. So the leaking is a symptom and putting some plaster here is medicine. There is chemicals, pharmaceutical medicine. Going up and looking and clearing it up is finding out the root cause.
I realize that you are saying that you will take question to the end. Emotional stress and chemical stress I can understand. Physical stress, what do you refer to?
If I have an accident or a fracture, I should be able to press everything is broken. So this is where the new concept of functional medicine has come. Okay, the father of functional medicine is one guy known as Jeffrey Bland. He's been talking about since 20-25 years. An amazing guy. You guys can go to YouTube and listen to him. So he's the father of functional medicine, Jeffrey Bland. Okay, so what is functional medicine? Functional medicine, see, when people are sick, they are dysfunctional. Make them functional. That is functional medicine all about. Where you get to the root cause. Get to the cause, clear the cause, the symptoms disappear. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to take 5 problems. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and lipid means cholesterol or anything. So, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol disorders, and thyroid. Okay. So I am going to take and try to connect the dotted lines, at least for diabetes, obesity, hypertension, and cholesterol. Then the final thing for thyroid will come later. Okay, this is how it goes. I'll put things very briefly so that you are able to understand, because technical things are going into the jargon is not very helpful. Food that we take has got two meanings. One, it is information. Two, it is energy. Whenever we take food, the energy builds up. Where does it build up? The meeting or the veranda there. However, it has got to come into the cell. Into the cell. To run the cell, the energy has got to come here, for which the body requires a transporter. It recruits a transporter called arm of insulin, which is secreted by an organ known as pancreas. Okay, so whenever we take food, the energy builds up in the blood. Immediately signals are sent to our pancreas, which produces hormone known as insulin, and insulin transports the energy from the vertebrae into the throat and stores. Okay, so when we eat, energy goes up, insulin transports the energy into the throat, we store. During the day, generally speaking. When we don't eat, there is no energy coming, there is no insulin, insulin is not required. This gives a signal to the body to break down this energy and utilize it, during the night. So during the day we eat and store, during the night we expend. Don't eat and expend. It's a nice balance. Okay, nothing untoward happens, everything is fine. However, you will get to understand we are taking too much food too frequently. So when you take too much food too frequently, too much of energy is going up too frequently, the veranda. So the body recruits too much insulin too frequently, and insulin takes all the energy and shoves it here. Okay, we don't give enough time by not eating to break down the stored energy. That is how you gain weight. Obesity explained. Obesity is caused by one hormone, insulin. So what is it that we are taking too much too frequently? Is that generally speaking, 70 to 80% of the food that we take is carbohydrate. You have three macronutrients: carbohydrate, protein, and fat. There is a general fat phobia. Yes or no?
Yes.
So we take very little fat, very little protein. Most of us being vegetarians, being the cultural food, is that mainly carbohydrate, which is nothing but string of glucose. That is sugar. So the response, because sugar in the body, so we take 70 to 80% of the food that we take is sugar. The sugar in the body has got two meanings. One, it is energy. The second thing, too little we will die, too much toxic. It is poisonous. So sugar is kept in a narrow range of 70 to 100, 140. 70 to 140. Below 70, we will go to a coma and die. Above 140, it is toxic to our body. Okay, let's take the first scenario. I don't eat for 2 to 3 days. Many people have done it. Okay, fasting, extended fasting. But my sugars are fine, because our body is brilliantly intelligent. It produces glucose from non-sugar sources in the body, that is fat and protein. That is known as neoglucogenesis, new glucose production. So it takes it up to that level. If I take too much of sugar, it goes beyond 140, then what does the body do? I told you. Yeah, it calls for Mr. Insulin. So insulin takes the excess sugar and puts it here. So when you take too much carbohydrate, that is equal to too much sugar, causing too much of sugar going up too frequently in the blood, causing insulin to go up too much too frequently, and excess insulin takes all the sugar and puts it at fat. Obesity explained. So how do you treat this? You have to get the insulin down by taking less carbohydrate. On the one hand, you have to reduce the frequency of eating. Okay. So how do you do that? You have to decrease the frequency of eating without hunger. So how do you do that? When you add healthy fat to the carbohydrate that you are taking, you are satiated for a longer period. Why? Because when you take fat, there is almost a flat insulin response. It's not going to take that energy and put it into your fat. Your body is going to use that. So you will feel less hungry for a longer duration. So a combination of low carbohydrate healthy fat on one hand and intermittent fasting on the other hand is the solution for obesity. Okay? Obesity done and dusted.
Why do you say that fat will not have a spike insulin response?
That's its nature. That is the insulin response. It does not require insulin. Because sugar is harmful. So our body is brilliant. It doesn't want the sugar to be floating around, high sugar to be floating around in the blood, causing damage to our cells. What did I tell you? Sugar goes into the cell, destroys the mitochondria, destroys the cell wall, and destroys the nucleus interior. So the body is so brilliant. So it takes everything and puts it into fat where it's preserved. Clear?
But what do you mean by frequently? How frequently should you or should you not eat?
You should eat to hunger. When you take carbohydrate, you are hungry more frequently. When you take fat as a predominant fuel, you are hungry less frequently. That's all. That's exactly what will happen to anybody who tries that. So it's not rocket science. Very, very simple. Okay? So next, diabetes. We go to the
Previous slide.
So, suppose I throw one question here. A person is overweight or obese because he or she is eating more and exercising less. Right or wrong? Anybody who says right, throw up your hands. You have to give the reason. You have to give the reason. How do you see? I am fat because I eat more and I exercise less. Is it right or wrong?
Yes.
Right.
Not extending it.
Right, just,
Or is it wrong?
it's correct.
How do people say it's wrong? At least by voice.
One, in that corner, one.
Okay. So majority say yes. The answer is it is yes. So for anything there is a proximal cause and ultimate cause. Okay. You take a person, generally speaking, you take a person who is obese, they tend to eat more, they are all couch potatoes. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that's a proximate cause. That's fine. However, the ultimate, the real cause is that because they are obese, they tend to eat more and exercise less. Why are they obese? Because they have high insulin. When you have high insulin, every time you take carbohydrate, some of it is hijacked to our fat. So we don't get the requisite energy. So our behavior, so there is no gluttony and sloth in this. Okay, it is not a behavioral problem. It's a hormonal problem. Our behavior is dictated by our hormones or our biochemistry. That is what you have to understand. When you see an obese person, you should sympathize and empathize. His insulin is not working properly. You got too much of insulin, it's not working properly. That's the understanding you need to have. Okay? Now,
Why does he have so much insulin in the first place?
carbohydrate. You take too much of carbohydrate. See, if you are not able to understand, you stop him. But very good, you'll have it.
At the end, yeah.
Would you be touching upon which are the good fats to eat?
Yeah, definitely. Q&A ask. Okay, next is diabetes. Nobody has diabetes, they have only elevated blood glucose. Okay, diabetes causes the sugar to go up.